Tuesday, and it's March 1st, and it's 7:10 in the evening. It's not that truth. Because while that certainly is true for those of us who are here in this moment, even at this exact time, there's lots of people around the world for whom that is not true. Pick up the phone and call California. It's first thing in the morning. Pick up the phone and call Australia. It's already the second. And even for us here, in another few minutes, it won't be 7:10 anymore. It'll be 7:15. So the truth is not that which is constantly changing. It's not that which is true only for people at one intersection of time and space, at one moment in time, or one moment of space. Truth is that which is eternal, which is just as true for those in California as those in Australia, as those here. And that's just as true for us in this moment as it will be for us an hour from now, or a day from now, or a year or a lifetime from now. So satsang is this opportunity to dive deeply into truth and into that which is blocking us from living in truth. And it's a time for whatever questions are in your mind and your heart that are keeping you from living in that truth as that truth that you know. And I have to say, it's such a joy to be back in person after being just online for such a long time. It's such a blessing to actually be able to gather again in person, together, physically, here in this sacred garden on the banks of Mother Ganga. So on this sacred evening of Shivratri, we'll open it to any questions that anyone here has. Yes. Yes, great. So he said, on the one hand, we speak about life, the importance of life, the gift of life. On the other hand, we're always talking about moksha, about this freedom from the cycle of birth and death, essentially the cycle of life. So which is it, and how do they intersect? Well, it's yes and. The freedom that we seek is not a freedom from the body. A lot of us misunderstand moksha, misunderstand freedom. People will say things like, Bhagwan, jada mere ko upar le jao, fir moksha milega. Ya finally, sharir ko chhod dungi, fir moksha milega. It's not that just by losing your body or leaving your body or dropping your body, suddenly you have moksha. That would imply that the body was the problem. That somehow the body was keeping you from freedom. And it's not. Moksha, real moksha, Real freedom is freedom in the body, not freedom from the body. The body is a gift. Life is a gift. Every minute, every moment is such a precious gift. We saw over the last couple of years with COVID, with so many people getting sick and dying, with everybody being afraid of getting sick or dying suddenly. As a massive collective whole, we were so aware of the preciousness of life, prepared to live in the four walls of our own house for 2 years. Why? To protect our life. Prepared to do whatever we had to do to protect our life. And you know, the moment you start to not feel well, or the moment that a loved one isn't well, or the moment you get a diagnosis or a test reading that isn't quite right, immediately we become so scared. Because life is precious. It is such a gift. And that gift is one that we are able to experience through this body. It's these 5 senses that enable us to see a sunrise, to see a sunset, to have darshan of Mother Ganga, to see the stars in the sky, to look in the eyes of the beloved, to behold the Guru, to have darshan in a mandir. It's our ears that enable us to hear beautiful music, to hear a katha, to hear chanting. It's actually these senses that enable us to interact with the creation, with the divine creation. If we didn't have our senses, we wouldn't be able to interact with creation. The dilemma becomes not the body. It's not my arm or my elbow. It's not like, for God's sakes, if I could just be free of this elbow, then I would have moksha. Right? I mean, if someone would just take my ankle, then I would have moksha. Or God, my left ear is really the problem here. It's not the body. There's no part of your body you can get amputated and have moksha. It's the mind. It's the games of the mind that keep us stuck. It's the games of the mind that tell us all kinds of nonsense about who we are, about what the world is, about how the world is. It's the games of the mind that are constantly creating jealousy, anger, ego, that are constantly creating these patterns of thought in our mind that actually lock us up. We're free. By God's grace. I mean, there are people in the world who are not free. Literally. Who are not free to worship the way they want, dress the way they want, speak the way they want, earn a living the way they want, love the way they want. We are free. Except our minds. And so this freedom from, when we talk about this cycle of samsara and the cycle of birth and death, that only happens when we become free in our minds. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains so beautifully the only way to actually attain this moksha, because you can't stop acting. And if you can't stop acting, then you won't stop accruing karma. The fruits of karma, rather. If you keep doing the karma, you'll keep getting the fruits of it. The only way to become free of those fruits of karma that keep us coming back, whether they're sweet, whether they're bitter, is to realize you're not the doer. To surrender. And what's the first thing we have to surrender is our mind. Oh God, please, take it. Let me be just an instrument. Nimitta matram. That bhav, that feeling of let me just be an instrument in your hands, not how I want it, when I want it, what I want. So once we are able to have that, and that's when we speak about jiva mukti, moksha while living, then the body is a gift. Look at our enlightened masters. Look at Pujya Swamiji. The body is not a burden. The body is this beautiful gift that enables us to serve, enables us to behold the presence of the Creator in the creation. In every blade of grass, in every cloud in the sky, in the face of everyone. So find that freedom in the mind, which will free you of that bondage. And then you'll be able to be free in the body so that you can actually use this life as the precious gift that it is. Beautiful. Yes. Great.
How to control krodha, anger. Namaskar.
How do we control anger? So the dilemma for most of us is that we think about controlling our emotions as though somehow we were going to be this master and make these emotions our slaves. I'm going to annihilate my ego, right? I'm going to conquer my anger. Well, the dilemma is that every time I have that thought in my mind, who's listening? My ego, right? There's no way that you can whisper quietly enough that your ego doesn't hear what you're saying. Right? So like, today I'm going to annihilate my ego. Today's the day. Shh. But who's in there listening to me? The ego. Now the ego doesn't want to be annihilated. And anger, of course, is an aspect of ego. If there weren't ego, there wouldn't be anger. If I didn't have this sense of self that is separate, that is an identity, that has its wants, its likes, its dislikes, its desires, there wouldn't be anger. Anger is when what I want doesn't happen. Stress is when I think it won't happen. Stress is like anticipatory anger. If there weren't an ego with its wants, its expectations, there wouldn't be anger. So the minute I say I'm going to control my anger, the ego listens, and then it starts playing its very fun games with you. And you find that you're not very far along controlling anger because the ego now is playing both sides. Instead of that, first of all, recognize that the emotions, anger, pain, despair, even joy. The emotions are waves. That's all they are. They are waves of energy. They come, they build, right? When we're angry, we get more and more angry. Blood is boiling, you're getting, right? It peaks, it crashes, and it goes. It actually happens quite quickly. Except that what we do is we give ourselves a story. We get wrapped up in the drama. Anger itself is just an energetic experience. Heart rate goes up. Palms get sweaty. Right? Breathing becomes shallow. We get in what's that fight or flight nervous system response. If we simply allowed the emotions as waves, if we just sat and meditated, like Lord Shiva at Nilkund, if we just sat and meditated, it would arise like any wave of energy, peaks, crashes, and leaves. But instead what we do is we wrap a whole drama around it. देखा आपने क्या किया उसने? क्या समझते आप अपने आप को? My God, amazing? क्या हालत है? We develop a whole drama. What someone said, how they said it, what they should have done, how we didn't deserve it. And we keep doing that over and over and over in our minds. And we never get tired of it. And the more we do it, the more we're holding on to the anger. So to control the anger, we don't have to actually control it as in do something with it inside of us. We simply have to stop telling ourselves dramas around it. The moment that anger arises, the moment, immediately, you let it go. You forgive. You acknowledge, you have compassion, you have love, whatever the situation requires. Beautiful way of thinking about it. This is my favorite way of thinking about anger, is imagine that you have a brand new beautiful couch. White couch. Now, your friend comes over, and you go in the kitchen and you make that friend a cup of hot coffee or tea. Give it to them. They take it in their hand and they spill it on the couch. Galti se ya jante hue, doesn't matter. They then stand up and they walk out of your house. आपने बड़ी प्रेम से चाय पिलाई, चाय गिराया, फिर उठ के चल गए. Now, what is the first thing you're going to do? आप उसके पीछे पीछे भागेंगे? अरे आजा वापस, इसको सफाई करो, पकड़ लो उसको. You're going to chase him down the street? Of course not. First thing you're going to do is you're going to clean your couch. Because you understand, ये तो मेरा घर में है. If it's stained, I have to live with it. Are you going to save the stain? ताकि जो जो आते हैं गार्ड पे आप उनको दिखा सकेंगे, देखो क्या किया उसने मेरे को. मैंने बड़ी प्रेम से चाय पिलाई, देखो. Take a picture, put it on social media, देखो क्या किया उसने. But this is, it's funny because it's actually what we do. Someone hurts us and we hold on to it. We don't let it go. जब तक आप वापस नहीं आएंगे, I'm not going to let it go. It's like saying I will live with ants and bugs and worms and bad smell and bacteria on my couch until you come back and clean it. मुझे उसके साथ नहीं जीना है. We don't want to live with that. Not with bugs, not with bad smell. So we clean it immediately. Later we'll think about this person. But first we clean the couch. In the same way, whenever something happens that you know is going to make you angry, just immediately clean that heart. If we take such good care of our couches, what about our hearts? Immediately, just Forgive. Doesn't mean it was okay. It doesn't mean it was nice. It doesn't mean that you're the karmic police absolving them of their karmic fruit. You're not. It just means you're saying, I'm able to be in peace and in love in this moment, regardless of what someone else did. Because for me to get angry says, Aapne galti ki. Now I'm going to live in hell. Right? Galti aapne ki. But now I voluntarily I'm going to give up my happiness, my joy, my peace, my freedom, because you acted in ignorance, in anger, in ego. I don't want to do that. Someone else's ego and anger or arrogance or greed or whatever it may be is not something that I'm prepared to give up my freedom for. But if we hold on to anger, we have become the slave. So whenever it arises, sabse pehle, clean the heart. And if you find it still there, just sit down, close your eyes. Don't tell yourself a story. Don't get wrapped up in the drama. Don't repeat it. Just allow the wave to come. And then it'll crash. And then you rise. And you move forward. Because you deserve freedom. And lastly, have fewer expectations. Fewer expectations about how the world is going to be. Because then there's a lot fewer opportunities to get angry. Every time some expectation doesn't happen, I'm angry. So if you let go of the expectations, then there's not even the possibility for anger to arise. Just realize everyone's doing the best they can. Wonderful. Yes.
Thank you. Namaste. So happy to be here from Uruguay. My question is, lately I'm a little bit scared of the death of my beloved ones. And I don't know how to deal with it. It's like my mind sometimes gets trapped like in these ideas. And well, that's my question. How can I deal with that, with acceptance? Thank you.
Sure. Death of our loved ones is something everyone is afraid of. If you're not afraid of death of your loved ones, you don't have loved ones. Now that doesn't mean that we're all paralyzed by it. It doesn't mean that it prevents us from living. But it means that obviously if we had a choice, I would like my loved ones to be alive, or I would like them to be dead. We would all choose that we'd like our loved ones to stay alive. The dilemma is, and this of course is true about ourselves as well, we would like to stay alive. The dilemma is that the only certainty in life is death. And so we find ourselves in this very interesting box, really, where we are losing our life, our peace, our joy, in fear of the one thing that absolutely is going to happen. And so what you've done is you've taken away what you do have, which is life and love in this moment. And you've thrown it away as though somehow if you just worry enough, or worry in the right way, God's going to say, all right, they won't ever die, don't worry. I get it. You really care. Okay, no problem. Keep them. It's okay. But we do that as though somehow if I just worry enough, they won't leave me. But they will. And what that means is that we've got the opportunity either to prepare ourselves for misery, which isn't so much fun, or to ask ourselves, are they really leaving us? Their body will, absolutely. The body will die. But what you love in them is not only their bodies. Yes, we also love the bodies. It's wonderful to look in their eyes and hold their hands and hug them or sit in their lap when we're young. But ultimately, it's not the body that we're so deeply connected to, because their body keeps changing. What we're really connected to is their soul, their spirit, their essence. And it's that beautiful opportunity that we have while they are still here in the body to make sure that we're connecting, not just body to body. Because all that's doing is setting you up for misery. But that actually you're connecting essence to essence, soul to soul. So that when they do die, which they will, or you will die first, there's only two ways it's going to go. There isn't a third option. Either you die first or they die first. When that happens, that connection on the soul level, on the essence level, on the spirit level, will already be something that you are familiar with accessing. It'll be something that you already are in touch with. So that you know, yes, the body is gone, but they're still here. You can still feel them. And this is true. I mean, think about a loved one you've already lost. We've all lost loved ones. And if you close your eyes, you can feel them. Maybe not the, skin of their hand or their finger, but you can feel their presence. You know they're still there. Have that connection with your loved ones now. Celebrate every moment with them. Honor it, treasure it. And make sure that every moment and every minute is lived as it could be your last. Because going back to anger, sadly, our loved ones tend to be the ones we get angry at the most. Right? I mean, the random person on the road doesn't have the power to make us angry for very long. They might do something stupid. The car in front of us might slam on its brakes a little bit too quickly. Somebody on the road might act in a way that we don't like. But we're not going to take it home and not be able to eat our dinner and not be able to sleep because the guy at the checkout counter at the grocery store was rude to us. The stuff that steals our appetite, steals our sleep, steals our peace, is the stuff that our loved ones do. Our close people do. So as we are aware of the imminent departure, makes us really live every moment. You stop getting so angry. You realize, well, I'm not going to waste this minute. Not going to waste that moment. And it re-reminds us of the preciousness of life. It's also a really good time to dive deeply into that wholeness within you that isn't just a part of them, that isn't just someone's daughter or someone's sister, right? Or someone's wife, but that part in you that is full, that is whole, that is complete, that is infinite, that is divine. Because when we only identify as our relationships, then the fear of losing them is not only that we've lost them, but we've lost us. If I am my parents' child and my parents pass away, well, then not only have I lost my parents, but I've lost my own identity. And so start trying, as you meditate, ask yourself that age-old perfect question, who am I? And allow that answer to really emerge. Beautiful. We'll bring our satsang this evening to a close because we have sacred puja on the banks of Mother Ganga and our Shankar Bhagwan Ghat. Have a beautiful, beautiful, surrendered, open, conscious Mahashivratri. May that divine light from within shine in you in this night and in every moment forward.
Saviturva